Welcome to Inside the Chiropractic Tribe. I'm Dr. Jack Bourla. We have our special guest today, Dr. Cliff Hardick from Canada. Happy to have you here. We're excited that you'll be talking at a seminar today. We want to know a little bit more about you so the listeners can understand who you are and what you do. Tell us how you got into chiropractic.
I went to a chiropractor when I was a young lad, and my father was a barber, and he had this customer that was a chiropractor. Some years later, that chiropractor asked my father, when he was in for a haircut, if he could check my neck. And my father asked why. He said, well, I noticed your son's got a crossed left eye. The chiropractor went on to explain a little bit of anatomy and neurology and physiology to Dr. Osborne, who was a chiropractor in Reno, Nevada. And finally, he said, well, yeah, okay. And that came about because Dr. Osborne noticed that my eye didn't deviate the same amount. It would be sometimes greater, sometimes lesser. So I went into the chiropractor's office the next day. And of course, in those days, doctors didn't explain anything to kids. So I rode my bike, got there, and I thought he was going to check my feet. He said, lie on the table. Bang, he jumped on my neck. I heard the springs in the zenith hilo go all over the place. And I went home that night, and my father said, well, did you see Dr. Osborne? And I said, yeah, I did. So then I went back the next week, and a few more times that happened, and nobody told me anything. But I do know that when I went back to school that September, I didn't wear glasses anymore. Wow. And I always had a prism in that left eye. That still wasn't why I decided to become a chiropractor, because nobody ever told me the story. Sure. I knew I quit wearing glasses. I had no idea it was because I had my cervical spine adjusted during that summer.
Got it.
Obviously, that made a big impression on me later when I found out.
Yeah. And then what happened?
I had already decided to go to chiropractic school, and my father didn't tell me that story until the night before I was getting on the Greyhound bus after I was finished at the University of Nevada. And I asked him, why didn't you tell me that story a long time ago? And he said, I didn't want to influence you too much.
There you have it.
Yeah, so there you have it.
So you're going to be speaking today to the student body and the faculty and the staff.
I am.
What's the inspiration behind your talk today?
The inspiration behind my talk today would be that I think it's important that students learn to practice the controlled act that is regulated by licensing boards in the country that prohibits other disciplines from practicing the regulated act of adjusting a subluxation. That's a controlled act. And today we're starting to see a lot of chiropractors just practice things that are in the public domain. That's what I see that's running kind of rampant my past 25 years in practice that I didn't see as much of my first 25 years in practice. So I think I want to inspire students and staff and people in general that if you're going to have your spine examined for a reason, it's a chiropractor that should do that.
Cool. Interesting you mentioned the 25 years. Where do you see chiropractic in the next 25 years, given your history in the previous 25?
I see chiropractic 25 years from now in a very positive light.
Great.
I see, because of the message that we have for the principle of chiropractic, and because I see the potential of charging students with the ownership of this principle, we're going to see more chiropractors get back to the principle that defines our autonomy more specifically than what a lot of the schools are teaching today.
Terrific.
And by the way, Life West is not one of those schools.
We certainly hope not.
It is not.
We know that.
Which is why I hope is one of the reasons I've been invited here.
Terrific, and we're pleased to have you.
Thank you.
So what do you love most about chiropractic?
What I love most about chiropractic is whenever I go into a room of chiropractors, there's always a passion and a camaraderie that I don't see in other groups of people. And I've been to lots of other conferences about different things, but I don't see, even I've been to Tony Robbins seminars, and I don't see the passion in the room. And they're there, people that go to Tony Robbins, they're there to figure out a way to mastermind to build their business.
Sure.
There's insurance brokers there, there's real estate brokers there, there's salespeople there. So they're there to be inspired to figure out a better way to make money by dealing with the mental game with people. Even in that room, I don't see the passion at all
Yeah.
that I see among chiropractors, especially principled chiropractors.
Especially.
I see a huge passion that I don't see anywhere else, wherever I've been in my whole life.
What is your favorite chiropractic word?
Subluxation,
Why?
because that defines what makes us different from everybody else. When I use the term subluxation, I'm talking about the spine.
Correct.
I don't use that word if I'm talking about extremities.
Okay. We hope you live a long, long life, but when it's time for you to go, and you meet up with the Mabels and the Dee Dees and the BJs and the Fred Barges and the Sid Williams, what do you hope they tell you?
You know, I got to say this very humbly. Now, Sid always called me professor. He would probably tell me I knocked it out of the park.
Yeah?
But I would like to have BJ tell me, thank you,
Cool.
thank you.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is I am going to commit the rest of my life to seeing that a child that's born 30 years from now, when they go to a chiropractor, they come out of that office having had a real chiropractic experience,
Terrific.
instead of thinking they went to a chiropractor,
Yeah.
but they didn't. That's what I'm going to commit the rest of my life to.
Thank you for your commitment.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. Thank you for joining us inside the Chiropractic
Thank
Tribe.
you.
We look forward to seeing you all next time. Have a great day.